What is up, everybody? How's it going? Hopefully you guys are doing well. This is my next part of the God of War commentary series. I just finished off Jotunheim, and I can't wait to figure out what's next. And as you could see, and what you probably saw from the last part, is I loved Jotunheim. I love it. Everything about it. It was so cool. And we are about to figure out what happens next. And I think I just ventured back to the house. And we're on to Vandenheim with Freya. This is another long mission, but it's a really cool one. There's a lot of cool parts that she has said throughout this whole level, and I'll point each one of them out.
Anything beyond that would require trust.
Oh, please.
I'm going to skip all side content for now and just continue forward. The thing is, Freya, in my opinion, is just as worse as Atreus in God of War 4. She is very angry, and she has so much rage built up, and she will not stop talking about it.
Seems I don't have much choice.
She has a lot to get off her mind. This is where we learned, too, is that she has to stay in animal form this whole entire time.
I discovered it once you unlocked realm travel, and it solves very little. This form is extreme.
This one we have to be very careful because there's a lot of different traps going on here. 3, 2, 1.
Watch where you're going. The plants are extra aggressive in this humidity.
And so it's kind of tricky to weave through all this. You always have to be careful because you can easily get caught up in one.
What you think you're gonna do here? Kill me? Better men have tried. And women. And dogs.
That was pretty simple. What's interesting is about this one is that, yeah, you could get there, but you got that. But I'm not going to go get it. I probably will... I'm going to be optimistic and say I'm probably going to hit around 2 this whole entire level, like in terms of traps. I'm not going to go that way. Again, I'm skipping old side content and stuff like that.
War with the Vanir was never my idea. My idea was
there should be one, I think 2 up here. There we go. 3.
Obviously, the peace was no less a disaster than the marriage. Did he invade again as soon as I was exiled?
So basically, Freya just won't shut up in this mission. It's so annoying.
You on this, you dandelion meat? Left one. Listen, you just made the last mistake of your life. Let's go.
I'll try to remember all the traps that I can, but it's so hard to remember every single one on every single playthrough. Come on, really? There we go.
Arrogance bringing back memories of that wedding of yours. Fancy folks and quality meat.
Then we continue on.
Hey!
The plant life grows more dangerous the further we go. Hope you're up for it, dwarf.
Took some health, but not that bad. I'll gain it. The way I built my armor too is that it's very it's really good in terms of vitality. So it can last me a while if I take a bunch of hits, but it can also heal as well. This is a puzzle. I am not going to solve it. Don't want to.
And what is your point?
I already know the puzzles. I've solved all of them before. So I just thought that Vandenheim, this shot was pretty cool. The moon through the trees. Just any time nature shows itself, it's so cool just to look at, you know? This should be fun. One down, one to go.
Show me what you got.
Yeah, once you have upgraded weapons, it's kind of easy. But my first time, I think I had a little bit of trouble. They're pretty tough bosses. Those two.
Maybe the worst word said between you don't have to be the last one said. Hold up! If you want to keep your insides inside, all yours, big guy.
Okay.
Your people not receiving visitors?
I wouldn't know. They're not my people anymore.
Come on up. Bet you're glad old Brock's around to save your skin. Uh-oh. Yeah!
We should probably go get him.
Keep your guard up.
And then we probably get to the main area in Vanaheim, and I thought this was kind of interesting. And I'll play it scene by scene. So basically, we see him strung up, and I thought, like how he said quiet, because I'm like, which enemy could it be? I have no idea. It could be like those raiders like we saw at the beginning of God of War 4. And then we see this guy.
Thor too busy?
We do not serve Odin.
No? Picked a dangerous place for sightseeing, man.
The thing is, where's Freya? This is the whole time I'm like, okay, Freya, come on, speak. Where is she? What's taking her so long? She was literally like 2 feet from Kratos the whole time.
No, no. No need for threats, brother.
Oh, I know that voice. You know, I'd cut off your head, but it seems somebody beat me to it.
Aye. Oh, quite observant, brother.
Oh, no, you're no brother of mine.
And then this is where I thought everyone would start fighting. You have like a really cool fight, and then Freya would break it up. But again, where the heck is she? Why is she taking so long?
And where is my sister?
That's a good question. Where is she?
In Asgard? Is she even alive? Answer me.
And then this is where I thought Kratos would be like quiet.
I guess we'll settle for blood.
Stop!
And then she comes at the last second. Come on.
What is that? Why do you speak in her voice?
It's me, Ingvi. There's no time to explain, just listen. These men are in my service. I'm here to reclaim what's been taken from me.
It's too late. You can't undo what's been done.
I can. I will. Now let them pass.
I thought this was very interesting, and because it was a piece, but again, I was trying to figure out who this guy was, and I really don't know the Norse mythology that much in terms of like the Vanir gods, not that much. So I was like, huh. And then once he said sister, I'm like, oh, okay, so they're brother and sister. Gotcha.
Put him down.
So Brock's finally free. And then we learn this is Freyr's camp. Go over here. Come on. And then what's interesting is that, yeah, Brock and whatever her name is, I forgot. And because he said a drinking buddy before, and I'm like, oh, that's finally her. No wonder. So they're going to start drinking later in the game, or probably post-game. It'll be fun to see that, but we don't. That'll be like a cool side quest, you know? Oh, let's go to a bar and have some drinks, fool around, and tell some tales. But no, they didn't decide to add that. That would be cool, though. But again, it will just be another side mission.
Still kind of working on it.
There's lots and lots of side missions.
If my counsel is welcome.
I'll take what I can get.
What's interesting is that you can hear Brock and that girl over there just chatting while this conversation is going on too.
So don't tell me.
Okay, well then you can help me at the forge while you spill everything.
Hey, Kratos. As long as you're working for my sister, careful you don't screw up.
Okay, let's continue on.
Forgiveness.
Bit late for that one, I'm afraid.
Then we continue on across the bridge. I thought this bridge was kind of cool, made out of words, like wood.
Speak then.
With anger you feel for your brother. I know it well.
You have a brother?
This is really cool. Listen to this conversation.
When we were boys, he was taken by two gods obsessed with prophecy. The gods of my homeland seldom left survivors. So by the time I learned he had lived, it was too late for amends. His anger poisoned him against me. But I never stopped loving my brother.
You think my anger is irrational?
I thought that conversation was really cool because I loved Ghost of Sparta. It's probably one of my favorite God of War game, just because it was so amazing at its time, you know. And so when he was talking about Deimos, I basically just lost it because it was so cool to hear him talk about Deimos and his past that way. You don't really see that in any God of War game, so I'm so glad they took that callback and they brought Deimos back, not like actually back in terms of living, but rather it's just him in terms of like what happened to him, you know. Let me take care of this frost giant. And so, talking about Deimos, it was so cool because, also, it was just cool to bring back that past, you know? Come on. Come on, come on, come on. There we go. Okay. And so it was really cool to mention his name, and they had a callback to that, and I just think that's really cool, because if anyone has played Ghost of Sparta, you would know kind of the whole story behind that.
Trying to help. The mistakes of the past.
And what's interesting, I would also say too, that I forgot to mention, is that... never mind. I'll mention it later. Let me just do some fighting. Okay. And so that was probably one of my favorite parts about this game, is that they finally mentioned Deimos in the God of War games ever since Ghost of Sparta, because they didn't really do anything about that for like 3, you know, or God of War 4. The thing is, they just brought it back here, and I didn't expect that too. How Kratos still mourns the loss of his brother, and will never forget exactly what he did. And so that just has to be one of my favorite parts, and I think I made a little clip on that along with my YouTube channel as well. It was like a very short conversation, like 20 seconds, but it was still very meaningful.
You think you can even begin
Listen to this conversation too.
Losing a child?
Yes, I do.
Actually, there... Yeah, here we go.
Calliope. What happened?
It was long ago.
Never mind.
And so you have her mention of Calliope even on Chains of Olympus. So they're mentioning the PSP games, exactly what happened, but also like the story of the family. You know, we don't really see that in many God of War games, and so it was really cool to see that in this game, because they brought back the past of what Kratos had. he lost Calliope, he lost his wife, and so it was kind of cool what happened with Calliope too, because in Chains of Olympus, you got to see that. What happened with Calliope? Because she was in the Field of Reeds, but Kratos basically had to leave. And so it was the loss of a child, so he knows the pain she is feeling. This should be fun.
You're right. These are formidable creatures, very territorial too. Good luck.
Good luck. Don't need luck. See? Easy. So I'm just trying to get through this section, but listen to this future conversation for the next 20 seconds or so, because it talks more about Calliope.
I know your son's story. You should know my daughter's. In the service of a cruel god, I was tricked into destroying a village, not knowing my own wife and child were there until their blood stained my hands. I swore revenge.
That's... I can't imagine.
I paid back their blood 1,000 times and burned Olympus to the ground. Yet, the guilt remained. Perhaps you will kill me, Freya, but it will bring you no peace.
Perhaps it is not peace I seek. All those times I found you, why'd you refuse to fight me?
Every outcome would mean defeat.
What does that mean?
I have never wished you harm, Freya. You helped us. You saved Atreus when he was sick. I did not wish to live with killing you, any more than I wished to die.
I see.
Noken! And so close to the village! Their song makes their allies invulnerable. They will not let you pass unless you destroy them all.
So I thought that the conversation was really cool as I fight these guys, because it was literally the whole idea of God of War 1, 2, and 3 is that he had to swore revenge because of what they did to the family, and so he was mentioned by Calliope exactly what happened, and it was so cool that he told a little bit of the past to Freya and what he experienced, because Freya does not fully understand. She does not know. She knows that it's a god, but exactly what the god did, you just never know that. And so that's the thing that's very interesting to learn, is that you have to learn about Kratos' past, and that was what Freya was doing, is that she realized that he had a lot more loss in her. She lost a son, sure, but losing a whole entire family, losing everything you love in the Greek world, and then swearing revenge on it and not getting the peace you wanted, Kratos kind of had to explain that to her, or else it just didn't make sense. And so I thought that was really, really interesting, that you just had to share that information. I thought I blocked that in time. Just smash this guy with a rock. Okay, let's do this. Get the big guy. So that's why I kind of like this level, and why you have to listen to the lines in the dialogue. If you didn't do that, you didn't really have a chance to explain, you know. And so it was really cool that it was a mention of Calliope and Deimos, his past to Freya, because she kind of needed to understand the character arc of what he's been through, because it's a friend, and it was kind of interesting that Kratos trusts her enough that he shares the story, because he didn't really explain the past between Odin and Thor. And so he didn't really want to explain too much, but to Freya, where she understands that she is a friend and an ally, he didn't really want to tell nothing. He wanted to share the story so that way she can understand.
Our elders beat us till we could not stand. At night, we made our way home, alone, full of food for wolves. That is how Spartans are made.
And then he tells more about the past in Sparta. Again, it's really cool that he shares a lot of his backstory in this, because especially for people that didn't play God of War 1, 2, and 3, and especially the PSP games, they would be kind of lost about what's happening.
These plants behave similarly to the scorn holes we found in the foothills of Midgard.
Yes, we know.
ages ago. Well, considering how Spartans are made, it's no wonder you turned out as you did. Your fate was sealed from the start.
Yes, it was.
Become.
I used to think so. When the Norns told me of my son's fate, I thought I could change it. You know well how that worked out.
The Norns. The fates of these lands.
That's right. You defy prophecy at your own peril.
Atreus would agree with you about prophecy. He rushes blindly to a fate the giants foretold. Disappears for 2 days, trying to prove he is their champion, favored to fight at Ragnarok.
What? I know all the Ragnarok prophecies. There's no champion of the giants.
It is one glow concealed. Because of this champion, the realms are saved at Ragnarok.
And this is kind of like the cool backstory of this story in general, is that you realize who the champion is, what he could do, and what his true purpose is.
Well done, bro.
Atreus will not be a pawn of prophecy.
You still stand against fate.
And so, again, it's just interesting that Kratos has his own idea for the son, but everyone else thinks he should go freely and discover his own journey.
That way.
You would speak to me of protecting your child? Is my tragedy not enough of a lesson? Fighting fate is a waste of the precious time you've given to spend with them.
Right. This is a kind of interesting puzzle. I had a hard time on it the first time. Yeah. I'm working on it. And then it'll catch on fire, I believe, here. Yep. And then I keep on choosing the wrong side, but oh well. I'm working on it, Freya. It's kind of hard to swing across all this. And so I'm not going to solve this puzzle, it takes too much time. But I dealt with it before. It wasn't that hard of a puzzle, it's just a little tedious because you have to keep on swinging that thing.
After all the gods you've killed.
I have seen enough war to know the cost.
And I don't. After the price I paid to
No, you haven't seen enough, Freya, to be honest.
look around you, Kratos. See what happens when you don't fight.
Compared to Kratos, I mean, they both had their spoils of war, don't get me wrong. But I feel like Freya is inexperienced about what's to happen. She doesn't know the full cost. I had a little trouble on this person at first. Now this is a cool finisher move if I can do it. Look, no, I didn't want that. Whatever. But look at this. Boom. I thought he has a scythe just like the Reaper does in Death. And so I like how he just does that. It kind of reminds me of the finisher move in the TV show Supernatural. How I think Sam or Dean, I forgot which one, they stabbed the Death with his own scythe. I think that's what it's called. And I have to jump down and physically move it myself. I think so. No, not yet. Just have to jump over and keep moving. That's what I remember.
Kill again.
What?
I killed to protect my son, to aid my friends. But I will be no one's monster. Never again.
Just like the first game.
Choice, not with the debt you
But I will be your monster no longer.
I would always have
I thought that was a really cool line in God of War 4, and kind of how he had mention of it right now in this game. Let me get to this area, and we're almost to the main section.
There. I feel the source of the
Here we go.
magic keeping me in Midgard.
What is this place?
I thought this was really cool. The nice lighting.
I was dreaming.
The home kind of has the atmosphere like it was handmade. You had the woods, the nice shells and everything. The ladders, everything looks like it was homemade. But again, it looks abandoned at the same time.
Open barrel.
Kind of looks like from The Last of Us, how nature has kind of overgrown it.
World tree roots bound in Odin's damn knots. That's how he did it.
So I thought this was kind of interesting because just like the first game, there's a tie that Freya had to stay in Midgard. And then you see the knots and realize what Odin has done to her by keeping her bound. And so I thought that was really cool.
Wherever they are. Bastard was counting on it. Good. Keep at it. Drag it out. Don't let it hide.
So this is kind of an interesting fight. I'll talk about the roots a little bit, but this is a really cool monster because it has a really cool color in terms of how we got to see the realms. You can open up realm tears and do that, and so it was really interesting. Now, the first playthrough, I wasn't really, I didn't really have a hard time with this because I kind of knew this is very similar to the dragon fight in God of War 4. It has a very similar fighting style where it has a close quarters combat and a long quarters combat. And so he will fall for a little bit and you have to keep hitting him. He'll also have moves that you can stop him to do some damage as well. And of course, Atreus or Freya will help and guide and assist and move along the fight as it goes along. And each time they help, it's a new section in terms of how far we are in defeating it. And later in the game, what you'll learn too is, just like dragons, they go and they hook onto these ledges, and you're supposed to fight them on these ledges. Okay, come on. But notice throughout this fight, every time I take a hit to him, it kind of heals my health. I think you've been noticing that, but I just want you to be aware of it. I'm kind of good to know this fight as well. Come on, come on.
Bring it down.
I'm mainly using the axe in this fight, just because it's quick and easy. So gather, and then it'll throw something at us. It kind of reminds me of, there's one enemy in Halo that does the same thing. Where it'll build something up, it kind of reminds me of a Sigma's move in Overwatch. If you ever played that game, you would know that Sigma can have like a gravity thing where he pulls up a bunch of rocks and throws it as one big thing. The same thing is similar in the Pacific Rim movie, the second one, where they pull a bunch of cars together and then they use it as one giant car rock bomb on it. Come on. There we go.
Burn it off its scorch.
Oh, what the? Burn it.
Use your blade. Burn it quickly.
I thought I was supposed to freeze it.
Yes, it's working.
Okay, we're almost done.
Yes, be ready for anything.
Let's use the axe for a bit. Does a lot of damage. Now it's time to finish it off. In Kratos, this is like nothing for him. He's faced literally giants. Giants and because in God of War 3 and God of War 2, you literally fight these big people. And here, just a little tiny thing for him. So it's like nothing for him.
It's weak. It won't last much longer.
Let us finish this!
It's opening its stomach again. Get ready.
Come on. What are we supposed to do? Oh, I think I'm supposed to hit it.
I shot a sigil into its stomach. You know what to do.
Yep, I already did.
That's in it.
Now he's dead. Wait. We have to finish it off. Nice teamwork between Freya and Kratos.
It's going back.
What's interesting is that we never really saw teamwork from them in the past. This is the first time literally fighting something together. Before God of War 4, she was trying to stop Kratos at the end.
You're in the way. Blast the ripple.
Cut off the head. Just like everything, if you cut off the snake, everything else dies. So, thought that was kind of cool. Again, it's kind of cool that the sliver so hot it kind of singes, kind of like fire. And so, talking about the roots again, it was so interesting because every single root has to do with a bond into realms and bond to the overall trapping her. And so she has to free all that. And of all this time she was trapped, because you could tell in God of War 4 she was really, really mad and sad that she was stuck in Midgard. But here she is very happy, but also very vengeful that she gets to break the roots and she can finally be free. And so it was a really cool moment just to see the knots being broken.
Ow! Get out of me!
And then she's so happy because it's done. Then she realizes what's gonna happen next. And so, yeah, she realizes, okay, well, now that I'm free, I can finally feel the freedom on me.
Is it done?
And then she realizes she has to kill him and make a decision.
It's over. It's really...
But based on who she truly is, I feel like I knew she wasn't going to kill Kratos.
Now that you have what you seek.
I suppose this is the point where I forgive you, where I kill you.
Have you decided?
And again, a lot is going through her head right now.
To be honest, I don't know. 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 I don't know
She doesn't know.
I don't think I can do either. There's still a part of me that is so angry. And it'll always be. It'll always be angry.
And you kind of understand her pain because Kratos did kill her son and she wants retribution. I mean, anyone would. But also, she has to think about how much help he has been to her throughout the God of War 4 and this game. So I think the help does overweigh
I do see that.
what the consequences were.
Look. Everything that's happened between us.
No need to explain. Not to me.
Explain it to my son. No, just kidding. He didn't say that.
I do not regret saving your life, and never will. But the choice between life and death should have been yours to make.
I agree with that too.
I should not have robbed you of that choice.
So this is a very deep conversation because there's a lot of events that happened at the end of God of War 4, and they have to reconcile with those in this, especially this conversation here, and move on because they had to make a decision, or because you can't hate someone forever. You have to make a decision about what's going to happen next. Okay, let's move forward.
Now that I am myself again, I suppose it's time to face my brother.
And after that,
I don't know. It's been a long time since I've had a choice. Live with that for a moment. We can take this way back to the camp. I can help with the vines.
And you know, come on.
Now embed your blade. Fast learner.
your brother seemed
More like deja vu.
Oh, I'm sure he'd
Yeah, I've done this.
more than for everything to go back to how it
Let's have a
was.
cool fighting scene, shall we? Yeah. Okay. Personally, I don't like the sigil arrows, but
Behind you, look out!
we have more enemies to face. Okay, let's get the spear. I can't wait to actually, once the spear actually comes to play, the real spear, it would be so cool. Like again, I already played this, so it's New Game Plus. How did that not? I thought I hit her. Okay, let's keep moving
Send
forward.
Odin my regards.
you use your anger effectively.
Well, you learn to use
Just
it.
like not Obi-Wan. Just like Mace Windu, he channels his rage to help him better in fights, and that's kind of like Freya does.
Person in the world to me, for
She-
half my life. These plans are the same as those. Now the sigil should hold the cross. Well done.
She won't shut up.
Watch out, those are wisps. Powerful manifestations of runic magic.
Let's keep moving.
Could I ever think of this place as home again?
And then once I got to this area, it was so beautiful. Again, it's more beautiful in the sun, which right here. Well, you know. Look at that, look at that. One of the best overlooks and views in the game. You have the nice waterfalls going down, you have the nice valley, the trees and the sun, everything about it is just beautiful, this view. And so it was really, really cool seeing this because I'm like, whoa, this is a really, really cool realm.
From the sheets of Midgard snow I've grown accustomed to.
Kind of reminds me of the Lion King, you know, how they went through the valley and you could fall into it.
At least the whole realm.
So it's a very, very beautiful sight. Even though they look kind of fake, you kind of know what's going on right there. So let's keep moving forward. We'll visit this in a later mission.
That goes for Freyr, too.
This is really cool too. I love how the branches and the vines kind of make this really cool pathway. I think we have more enemies to face up here. Fun stuff. Okay, not here yet. Right here. Now this is kind of fun because it kind of reminds me of Doom in a way. How you have many layers and you have many waves of enemies. And you're supposed to fight them. Jump from area to area and you kind of have this Doom style. I'll show you what I mean in a second. So you have an upper layer here you can go up on. Cut the head off. Got this area. See, look at this. You have like different areas you can go to. And just like Doom, you have different layers you can fight and move your enemies around you. I don't really use my fists as much as I used to. Maybe because it's slow, but it's still fun. I think that's the last enemy. Okay, let's keep moving forward.
So much has happened since I last saw Freyr. I'm not even sure where to begin.
What do you want from him?
An apology would be a start. I want to forgive him. I'd like to think he's changed. He's all I have left now. Did you ever apologize to Demos?
It's in this too.
It is difficult to seek forgiveness when you feel unworthy.
What's interesting and cool about that as well is that Demos, he hated Kratos. He was not a fan of Kratos. And so, if you played Ghost of Sparta, you would know that Demos, when he found out Kratos was there, he did not like him. He had so much rage put into him over the years, maybe even decades. Just built upon him to hate Kratos because he just of what happened to him, he felt like betrayed by Kratos by being captured by the gods. Again, that's it. You have to know the plot of Ghost of Sparta and what happened because again, it's like games in between, you know. And so it was very interesting because he could not forgive Kratos at first, but as you got to the very ending with Thanatos, you realized that he needed Kratos at first. He needed to survive. And so I thought that was very, very interesting. Because it wasn't really the first reaction you would expect when seeing Demos. You would expect love and you would expect happiness, but instead you had this hate. And that's what the whole conversation is here, is that you had the whole conversation of hate. And that's the whole idea of Demos and Kratos, and kind of like how Freya and Freya is that the whole idea of forgiveness and rage is that they had so much hate and just pent up, and they just don't know what to do with it. So it was really cool that they had a nod to Demos right there again, because again, it's a cool nod back to the old games. Again, it's really cool, just as a Easter egg, because many people haven't played the old games, Chains of Olympus and Ghost of Sparta. They mostly played God of War 3 or even 1 and 2, or even 4. So they wouldn't really know about the past.
So what's next for you? If not
Okay,
preparing
let's
for
head
war?
back to base.
No, but I will take no chances with Atreus.
Well, you may want to think fast, unless you want someone to make that choice for you.
She's technically right. She doesn't want to lose Kratos, but he can't make up his mind.
I never will be.
He doesn't know what path to choose from. He doesn't know he wants to be a Spartan and protect him for his safety, or if he wants to rather, what's the word?
No.
Let him choose his own path and have the freedom to be a giant and what his legacy is.
At last.
Yes.
And I guess we'll learn soon in the next part
Let's celebrate.
to figure out what's
We'll
going to
reclaim
happen.
The throne. We'll rebuild. Me and you against the world. Huh? Just like the old days.
I'm not staying.
I don't understand. You're here. Maybe together we can take back what's ours.
I only just got back what's mine. I still have work to do.
And so this is just a conversation between Frey and Freya to bring brother and sister about what's going to happen.
Do we really mean that little to you?
You question my loyalty? Vanaheim turned its back on me.
Oh, you still can't let go of that old fight?
It was my duty to save as many of our people as possible. My responsibility. One you didn't take seriously then, and from the looks of it, one you don't now.
You think this is a game to me?
Yeah.
We lost everything to that maniac you called husband. The man's family set me on fire. How did you expect me to react?
Like my brother! Like the boy that used to have my back no matter what! And who I always supported no matter how selfish his choices. I expected you to come and find me. That no matter how hurt or angry, you wouldn't abandon me when I needed you the most.
Freya, please. I thought you were dead. I've had to live lifetimes. But those last awful words I said to you.
This is just new in the story too, because we didn't really have any knowledge of Freyr. We just knew about Freya and what kind of woman she was, and tied to the realm of Midgard. So we didn't really know much about Vanaheim. We knew she was the leader of Vanaheim, and of the old ways, but we didn't realize the relationship she had with the brother. And so,
So much.
it's so cool that they finally reconnect.
And I, you, Yngvi. But I won't bind myself to another realm when I finally have my freedom. I'll send help, though. And I will come back. I promise.
This hasn't been your home for a long time, has it?
And the thing is, you have to realize is that Freya, this was her home a long time ago. But kind of the conversations throughout this mission have led us to believe that this realm has changed. It's not the realm she once knew. The people have changed, atmosphere has changed, everything about it has changed. So she can't really stay for now, but also she's different and the realm is different.
Not you. Got a few
That's
things
a weird
to square
glitch.
with you. Second is that
Never
sense
seen
of
that one
magic
before.
I smell on your bow. Reckon that's an idea I'll steal. How's about I set you up with some sonic mojo? Call it a trade.
Very well.
Third of all, even you ain't staying here. Bears mentioning that Sindri and I find ourselves running a flop house for unemployed gods. If you're done freezing your backside off in mid,
The thing is, they don't. You can't fully figure out what he's doing. They always try to keep that off camera.
That's
A
kind
nice
of you.
change to this.
I may do just
Figure
that.
out like just to pretend that he's doing it.
Well, all right then. I'll meet y'all back at the house. Unless you want me to fix anything up first.
No, no,
We
no.
have to meet our new allies. Or shall we depart?
We shall depart. I don't care.
I remember where to look for a gateway. Follow me.
Well, you two seem to be getting on since completing your mission. Dare I hope this alliance has some staying power after all?
It seems to me we share a common enemy. Kratos,
And then I thought that was a really cool view.
But you're smart enough
The
to
sun
know
really
when
brings
you're
out
threat.
the beauty of
Whatever
this
comes
realm.
next,
The sun
chance
really
of surviving
puts like a
is to
really
work
cool lighting effect on the ground, the leaves, everything. It brings out the colors and
You can
everything.
imagine staying under the same roof as a couple
So let's
of
head back to the
enemies.
house and figure out what's going on there.
Towards terrible vengeance.
And then I
Not
think
against
we'll
you.
head into the next part after
I
this.
will. You have my word.
Freya joins Kratos. Anyways, it's like Smash Brothers. Freya has joined the fight. That'd be cool though. If they had like a PlayStation All Stars brought Kratos
This
back
lock is
and then
different
also
than the one. You'll need an
Freya.
enchantment on your chisel to use it.
Freya can join the fight. Then you have Atreus, and then you have like Odin. That would be really cool. Like a really cool Smash Brothers game, but for PlayStation characters, especially God of War.
No.
But I know they had PlayStation All Stars back in the day, where you had like Nathan Drake, you had the BioShock guy, you had different characters, Rappa the Rappa.
A trip to Alfheim. Well, we can decide at the gateway. This boat should get us there if we can clear those vines. Remember what to do?
No. There we go.
There's a fallen log in the river. It has something on it I don't know. We're clear.
Let me see. So I got 7 minutes. We'll see if I can do this.
Aye. Not exactly shipshape. He sleeps in a broom closet now. But he's adjusting.
How did you find him?
Largely that's down to Atreus having figured out how to access the prophecies giants reserve for their own kind. We only learned of it ourselves after Thor and Odin came calling.
To your home? Is it still standing?
Barely. But all the violence was seemingly just a distraction to let Odin have a private word with Atreus.
Odin was alone with your son? Did he tell you what they spoke of?
Yes.
It seems like it's a big deal that Odin has entered their home.
The answers he's
And it's like, did they hear you? You can't believe Odin. And it's like very deceitful and bad of what Odin has. And it just shows how much negative influence he has on other realms.
I have some unfinished business up this river I could use your help.
Or we can follow up on that elven sanctum out in Alfheim's desert.
No, that's a side quest. We could do that later.
If you want to continue exploring, we'll need to remove that log in the river.
Nah. We're going to Sindri's home.
Well, brother, before you see the lad again, might we discuss an approach?
He will tell me where he has been. That is my approach.
Ah, classic Spartan diplomacy.
Wait. Did you say Odin invited him to Asgard, and then he disappeared for 2 days?
Aye, but surely the lad's got more sense than to...
Don't underestimate Odin's powers of persuasion. He filled my son's head with lies. Why wouldn't he do the same with yours?
She's got a valid point.
And you tell that one-eyed nutsucker he owes
Okay,
me one.
so I'm going to end this part here, and I'll continue on the next part.
Glad you
So,
made the trip, you're
hopefully you guys joined well, and just staying happy, and with lots of love and respect, I will see you guys next time. Peace out, and bye.